Hello YouTube, this is an HD review of the Microsoft Xbox 360 and Microsoft Xbox 360 Kinect. Now this is Gizmo88. I have a review for this. It's kind of going to be a little bit longer review due to the fact that there's so much hardware here. I want to get it all in review because it's one system. Now, before I get into the Kinect, I'll start with the 360. Now, as you know, there are two different systems. We have the original, and then we have the Slim Edition. Now, these systems, they are high definition. Let me go back there and pause it. I apologize. Anyway, as we all know, these are both high-definition systems capable of 1080p high definition, and for the most part, I don't know, they're not the best systems. I mean, I know there's a big fan base. You got to realize that there's a lot of them, have crashed due to the red ring of death, which is mostly to do with this particular Xbox. This is the original. It had what's called the red ring of death, and I'll get to the new one in a minute because there's a little bit of what they call the red ring on it too, except it's a little bit different. Now on this one, they get a code like E74, or which is known as just a general error code. But the system's overheat, and it's never been fixed. Even today, still on the new ones, it still has overheating problems. They have never been able to fix that. Now the original, it scratches disk, it will destroy disk. Not quite as sensitive as the Slim Edition. The Slim is so sensitive. I mean, you just bump it and it destroys them. They don't scratch them or put a deep scratch. It just destroys them, and I mean literally. And that is one problem that did not improve, that actually got worse, which is something we all don't want. Now, I myself, I'm not a real big Xbox fan, so I don't even have one. Microsoft, I'm not too fond of them because of the fact that they overheat and they've had so many problems with them. It's probably, the Xbox 360 has literally the biggest failure rate out of any system ever made. They did excellent with the first one, pretty well dominated the market, but there's so many problems, I can't even begin to tell you every single problem they have with these. But and normally when your Xbox is run, you'd see this green light. You can see there with my mouse pointer. You have a green light in the middle and then the ring, and that's normal operation. And then there's your disk drive, and then you got a memory card slot. Now it does have a hard drive, if you can see that up there. And if you had to get the arcade, it don't come with the hard drive though. So now the newer ones do. All your Slims come with a hard drive, and then you can, if you get the Elite or anything, you can always buy a hard drive for this one. But you can also get memory cards, which I think is kind of stupid because who needs a memory card if you got a hard drive? Now I will say it can be handy though. If you're transporting some data from your hard drive, like a saved game or something from your hard drive and putting it on another Xbox. But it don't do no good if the Xbox breaks, because then you just transfer your hard drive. Now, there is another jack here, and it does have, HDMI output, and there was some of them that they all had it, but they do lack the ability of the wireless internet and all the goodies, basically. It's not a very sleek design as for the original. Now, the second one, the Slim, it's definitely a more sleek design. They do perform better, but they still overheat. Now, they have on these what they call the red dot of death, which rather than a ring, it's dots. And it is known. It is an issue. There's a lot of people are not getting error codes, but this is definitely an issue. Really, the only good thing about the Xbox is that it produces high-definition graphics. I mean, there's really not much good about it because, It does have the Halo games, and has, you know, has pretty good war game experience. If you're looking for war games, it's mostly what the 360 is. But anyway, as for the new one, it is a little bit different. It don't have memory card ports or nothing like that. They did away with all that, so that's a little bit different. Now, one thing I want to talk about is the Xbox 360 Kinect. This thing, I don't even know where to begin. It's cool. You know, I've tried it out. It has limitations, beyond limitations. I mean, literally. You know, a lot of people, I know there's been people that have left the Wii and went to it, but I'm going to tell you right now, I have the Wii, I have the PS3 both, and I have tried the Kinect. The Kinect it's too sensitive. It can only pick up about one movement at a time, even though they might tell you different. It will literally only pick up one movement. You got to recalibrate it all the time. It's very big. It's very heavy, and it can overheat. Now, why would a camera overheat? It beats me, but they can. That is an issue with them. They can overheat. Even though it has two camera eyes, the people have to stand really close together. I mean, we're talking about, you know, literally where hands are literally touching, just so close together. And, you know, it's so sensitive that if you stand apart from it at all, you move at all, it'll lose track of you, and then it'll pause the game, and then you got to try to get back in line with it and start the game again. And it's a real pain in the butt. It's just the sensitivity on it's just so bad. It has trouble with skin tone. Now Microsoft is working on an update. You know, I can't tell you how well it's going to work because it's more of a lighting issue, and it's not really so much the software as it is the lenses and the cameras and the sensitivity of the sensor itself. You know, this it's got its own built-in interface and software, so I mean, it's not something you're just gonna, you know, walk in and buy and you know, see it. And another thing is the hefty price tag that it carries. It's a very large price tag. It's ridiculously high. It only has about 3 or 4 games coming out next year, so it's not a very hot item. It is right at the moment, kind of hot, some areas, but not all areas. And another problem is they have a stand for it, and I just found this one out today, but a stand's supposed to fit all TVs. It does not. And they recommend that the sensor be below the TV, or, you know, sit at the bottom of the TV in front. The sensor is so big, a lot of TVs sit so low that it won't work because it covers up the screen. And then if you have a Wii sensor bar or anything like that, or the camera for the PS3, that doesn't work either. So the only good about it, it is controller free. It is, you know, it is a little bit of an upgrade, but for the most part, you know, and I know I'm stating an opinion, but I still say the Wii is still much better. It's much smoother gameplay. The sensitivity is not so far out of whack where if you move, it's not going to stop the whole game. And you know, like, there's a broad library of games for the Wii, endless library from any type of title you want. And unlike, you know, the Xbox or the PlayStation, you know, when you play a game, you use the Wii remote no matter what. You know, so this thing is very limited as for limitations, and it's not a very go right now. Put it like that. It's not a very good going product. It's very unstable too, because as you see, the pedestal there, which is this right here, is just so small, and the sensor moves on its own. Now it requires a separate power supply too, only if you're using the original Xbox, which, as you know, as I've talked about with the Sega systems, that's kind of a Sega deal. So, you know, and as we've all, you know, talked about that time after time, we've all decided that we don't want more than one power supply if we can keep from it, but that's what we have. So, Congratulations, Microsoft, and happy gaming to everybody, and hope people like it. But this is what it is for now. This concludes the review.